Last week, there was an image on Twitter that went around showing the most charitable countries in the world, and it showed US to be the most charitable and China, along with other Asian countries, to be the least charitable. Just want to put some context into that picture. Number one, there is a fundamental difference between what the West considers to be charity and what the East considers to be charity. For America, because it's so individual centric, anything that they give away for free, sometimes even to their family, they consider it to be charity. For many Asian countries, including China, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, a lot of what we give, especially if it's a family member or relative or even a friend, we don't consider those charity. We just consider it generosity or responsibility. So when that survey and study was done, they did not separate that. And so it painted China and other Asian countries to be not as charitable, when in fact it's just a difference in what we consider to be charitable. Now, the other thing is that I interviewed an Asian immigrant last week, and he makes his money mostly, he's pretty well off, and he makes his money, that's an understatement, he's a multimillionaire. He makes his money from experts and real estate. And so our conversation actually went into how he dealt with the pandemic, because he had some residential buildings. So just for context, during the pandemic, specifically in California, there was an eviction moratorium. It prevented evictions for non-payment of rent by tenants experiencing COVID-19 hardships. It was available to any tenant who timely attests under penalty of perjury that he or she has not been able to pay rent due to COVID-19 related circumstances. There was also a COVID relief available to landlords or landladies. So you can, if you participate in that program, the state will actually pay 80% of the rent, and then they just ask you to forgive the 20%. There's also this thing in California where tenants are really highly favored. So I'm sure you have heard or read of cases in the US where tenants are able to live in someone's house for free for years and years. And the landlord has to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands to be able to evict that squatter in his property. And what this guy did, this Asian immigrant did, was to convert his apartments into luxury apartment buildings. And I thought at first that's heartless. I thought, why not just allow these people to live in your property until they're back on their feet? And he said that there are several reasons. One, he needs to make a living for himself and for his family. He said that charity is actually a specifically Western Judeo-Christian concept. China is a Confucian society, and your family is your responsibility. So basically, if it's a choice between helping others and helping your family, you will definitely choose your helping your family. And it's just a part of who they are. That's just a part of their identity. That's just a part of their culture. So before that, their family is actually their responsibility. Second is that he doesn't believe in handouts. He believes that if you give people something for free, they won't take care of it. So people who actually become successful are the ones who work for what they have, not those who were handed things for free. If you give people handouts, this is his belief, if you give people handouts, you don't really help them or train them to be sustainable. You are just making them dependent on you. So he said that if we want to help these people during the pandemic, then the solution is not to give them a handout. It's actually to train them to be able to sustain themselves. Now, of course, that's very complicated, because in my head it was like, but it is already during the pandemic. We should have trained them before, not now. And he said, well, yes. Well, when are you going to start? So the third reason for him is that this is simply not the role that he chose. He doesn't claim that giving people charity, being charitable, won't help. But he believes that it is just one part of a big puzzle. And it has to be supported by other efforts and by other things like training, education, keeping them healthy. To him, there are many components to that process. And the role that he chose isn't in the giving handouts for free part. The role that he chose is in the training part, in the education. And that ever since he got to a point where he can actually already help, he decided that he was going to help underprivileged kids to get an education, get proper training, and also help in the research for the cure for cancer. So you kind of can see the concept of charity for him. It's not really giving away, it's more the training part. For him, that's the role that he chose. He believes that being able to educate, care, and train a kid is going to pay it bigger forward. Yeah. He looks at this the same way he looks at his business. He looks at it as an investment, that if you spend time and energy in making the process better, in improving things, then it's going to prosper. But if you just throw away money on it and not spend time on it to make it more efficient and to train it and to make it better, then it's just going to sink. I told him, though, that he actually does not need to help his family because he has 3 kids, and the first kid is already working, and the second and the third ones actually have a scholarship. And so he said, yeah, but that's the fundamental difference between what the West defines to be charity and what the East defines to be charity. Because for him, it's family is not just kids or wife. It's actually cousins and uncles and even friends. And they don't consider that charity. It's just responsibility or generosity for them. I also asked him about Mao Zedong's rule. During Mao, the party actually abhorred charity because he wants people to think that the party is their only hope. So I said that your thinking may be a product of Mao's rule. And he said that no, because he actually does charity, because he does help people, underprivileged kids, in their education and in training. It's just he does not believe in giving away cash, or basically he does not believe in giving away fish. He believes in training people or teaching people how to fish. Now, there's another thing that I asked him. I said, this research that you're helping fund to find a cure for cancer, and I really support that because the kid that I helped raise, my niece, actually had cancer when she was a kid. So I'm very sympathetic towards that. Yes, you should do that. But I also worry that what if for example, they find a cure for cancer or other chronic diseases, and a pharmaceutical company just gets it and makes money out of it. And he said that is definitely possible, primarily because he thinks that the cure for cancer will happen after his time is up, so he won't see the fruition of it. But he said that he cannot allow himself to be paralyzed with fear. He knows that he can't do anything to stop that. Someone else has to take that role. This is the role that he plays, and this is the role that he will continue to play to the best of his ability. And I thought that was, I said initially, then isn't this just better to just finance somebody else's chemotherapy or whatever? He said, if I do that, then you're making one life better. But if you actually find a cure for cancer, you can actually help millions of people. But then he said, I can't think about the possible bad things that could happen, because then I will end up not doing anything at all. I just found it very interesting the way that he views wealth. That's number one. I find it interesting the way that he views charity. As he said, like helping a family member even a friend. And this is true even in the Philippines and in most Asian countries. We don't consider those charity. It's just something that we do. It's part of life. But most interesting to me is how he's able to let go of the possibility of the bad things happening to the efforts that he has put in. So for him to just say, I don't know what is going to happen to that research and I can't worry about that. I have to be at peace with that. That this is all I can do given the resources and the time that I have, and I'm okay with it. I found that very, very interesting. And I share that with you because I also want to get your perspective. Number one, what is your preferred form of charity? How do you help? And maybe we can share it to other people, how they can help as well. Maybe, there's a unique way that people, especially because a lot of people don't have the cash to just give away. Maybe there's another way that people can help. What is your preferred way of charity? And what do you think of his perspective? Do you think that how he sees things is correct? Do you agree with that? And yeah, what's your opinion basically? I personally help in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm not trying to be arrogant about it, but maybe this is just, maybe some people will find it helpful as well. I do donate my hair. So I grow my hair long and then I cut it very short. Maybe you've noticed that. And then I donate my hair to cancer patients. As I've said, the kid that I help raise used to have cancer, so I try my very best to help. So that's one way I donate my hair. So that's free if it's something that you can do. The only thing is that you can't color your hair. You can't bleach your hair. But you can dye it, but you can't bleach it. And if you dye it, you can't send it to just anywhere. You need to send it to specific groups so that they can clean it first. But you can do that. So no money necessary. But then that's something that, then you can bleach your hair. I do help another organization. It's called World Vision, and it actually sort of is consistent with his principle. I like kids and I like education. I believe in those two things, and that's what World Vision does. They actually help grassroots. So you sort of sponsor a kid, and then you give a certain amount. I think it's like I don't know, like $500 or $300 a year or something like that, and then you sort of support a child in everything, not just education but also food and stuff like that. So maybe you want to check it out, World Vision. So those two things, and then just I give away stuff. I give away my services if I can, not give away, offer my services if I can for free to Charitable if they need my expertise, and I just if I can, if I have the time. All right, would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter. I changed it to Asian EAC, so please follow me there. Anything personal is just on my Instagram. And thank you. I appreciate you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Also click that notification button and follow me or subscribe, and share the video if you can. I really appreciate you. Till next time.